Gamers, welcome to the Misplayers podcast, if we keep the name. This is me, MDC. You know me from Astral Central, Jimmy, James, whatever, with my friend.
My name's Naf. You might have seen me on one or two streams with James, but probably not. I've helped him film some stuff before, and we're good friends.
True, you did help me with Eldritch music video. So we're trying out a podcast. Main reason for it being that a lot of the time we have hours-long discussions about gaming, about games, complaining about them, especially big complainers. And I figured we should probably record them. We've been talking about it for a long time, and we never really did. So why not just give it a spin,
Yeah, like we can yap on for hours about games. So we thought we'd share it with you guys and see what you think.
So, first topic, I feel like it makes sense right now to just quickly talk about the Switch 2, like it got delayed and everything. It kind of, it didn't get delayed, right? It's just the pre-orders.
Pre-orders got delayed, but in my heart, it felt like a delay. I was mentally ready, credit card was primed and ready to pay for the pre-order, but
it's bad too. Like I see a lot of people talking about, they're saying like, oh, we should boycott Nintendo, and I'm like, yeah, like we should, but like
I need to play Mario Kart World,
Mario Kart though, hey, like it looks pretty good, man. It looks really good. I was actually checking out the direct that they did today. Nothing new. I don't even know why they did a direct. Actually, I
didn't get the chance to watch. I was working.
You didn't really miss. Honestly, like it was basically the same as exactly what we saw already. Basically, like I really don't understand why they even did it.
They didn't show any new courses or anything.
I mean, yeah, I guess you saw some extra places you can go, but I feel like if you're doing a direct specifically for one game, you probably want to reveal like I don't know, like something like
new mechanics and stuff like that. Yeah.
They more so just kind of explained a bit of this stuff, and it does look like really interesting. It looks a lot more. It looks like you have a lot more skill expression. I would say, like you have like you can charge jump now. They have a really weird rewind mechanic.
Yeah, I heard you. So just a disclaimer: we have a gamer group chat, and we yap about games for hours on end on there. Yeah. And I saw James talking to one of our other friends today about the direct, and I was pretty curious when you guys were talking about like a weird rewind mechanic.
Dude, it's so like you've probably played like retro games on Switch.
Yeah.
And you have like the rewind like save state thing.
So they had that in multiplayer?
Yeah, but that's what it is. It's kind of clever, I think, just for a racing game to have that, right? Because obviously you don't want to be behind other people, so there's not a lot of moments where you would want to rewind in a racing game anyway, because it doesn't rewind the other players, but it's still just a really clever mechanic. Like the way they showed it being used was someone was trying to do like a shortcut and miss their jump, and they just rewind, and then they actually land the shortcut. Like
while the other players are just moving.
They're just moving past you. Yeah. They're just moving past you. So I guess it's like a better. It's like instead of being punished by like a Lakitu kind of going to grab you and stuff, you get a slightly better. I don't know. It's interesting.
So can you rewind like at any point during the jump, or it's like after you've landed, then you can rewind?
That's where it's not clear to me, and that's why I'm a bit curious about if there's actually maybe some application for that mechanic that might actually be like competitive. The main one I'm thinking about, because the way it worked when they showed it is like the dude rewinded after failing his jump, but he maintained his momentum when it went back to normal.
Oh.
So I'm thinking like if you're getting hit by like, so let's say a blue shell, a lot of people in older Mario Kart games would just stop just so that someone else passes them, because it hits the person in first place, right? I wonder if now it's going to actually be better to just do a rewind just because you maintain momentum instead of like a full stop.
Oh, so if you're ahead and the blue shell's coming and you're on a ramp, you can like rewind mid.
I don't think you need to jump.
Oh, you can rewind at any point.
I mean, they didn't say you needed to do a jump. My assumption is that you can rewind at
any point,
right? Like that'd be weird if it was just after a jump, because the guy was on the ground, like when he started.
That makes you like what are the implications for like more competitive? I know Mario Kart's a party game at the end of the day, but like for more competitive racing.
I mean, it's a party game, but like when you play it as a party game,
it's very competitive.
It's very competitive. Like,
I think anyone who's played Mario Kart knows that. Yeah.
If you lose at Mario Kart, you feel like a lesser human being. So like you kind of have to like at least be top 3.
Yeah, that reminds me of my Smash Bros sessions with James.
Oh, dude.
I feel like a lesser human being.
Oh, dude. Yeah, we got to talk about that at some point for sure, dude. The fucking crash outs.
Oh, well, we got to at some point. If this podcast were to take off, I think we got to Or if people are watching, we definitely gotta promote HDR.
Dude,
those guys deserve
for real. I don't want to jump off the topic too crazy, but I do want to mention, if you guys haven't even heard of HDR, it's probably because like hacking a Switch is really hard. But it's basically Project M for Smash on Wii U, and dude, it's
on Switch Ultimate.
Oh, Switch, my bad. Yeah, for Ultimate. Yeah. It's like the best version of Smash I think I've played. It's my favorite, I would say, of all the Smash versions I've played.
Won't stray too much off topic, but yeah, I definitely if you haven't heard of it, just search it on YouTube. It's called Hue, HEW, Draw, like drawing a drawing, remix. Hue Draw Remix.
Terrible name, by the way.
Yeah, like, not the best name.
Disastrous name. Like, that's probably another reason you haven't heard of it, actually.
Exactly.
Just because the name is
and
dog
the
shit.
Abbreviation is HDR. So you search HDR, you're seeing like
you see
with like high dynamic range.
HDR.
Yeah.
HDR graphics on PlayStation. Yeah. No, you're right.
But yeah, search it up, look it up. Definitely one of the coolest things in the Smash scene that's super underrated.
Yeah,
I love it.
Honestly, underappreciated, like celebrated even. Like, it's just crazy the amount. I really like what they did with it.
Yeah. But back to Switch 2.
Back to Switch 2. Yeah. Don't buy it. Just let me buy it. You should not get it. You should boycott Nintendo.
You should only consider getting it once we've gotten ours, and then feel free to do as you please.
That's true. Actually, I am worried about that, and we can jump to that. I feel like we've talked about Mario Kart. Like, Mario Kart's looking awesome, but like, for like the pre-orders, I'm a bit, because you went through the process, right? That they have like for...
Well, you have to like enable some like receiving marketing communications or whatever on your Nintendo account.
Oh my god.
And you have to kind of sign up. I can't remember. I think I did sign up for like a form or something on their website to say like I'm interested, but I might be wrong about that. But I do know that our friend on the chat mentioned that you have to enable some account privacy settings to be eligible. Yeah, you have to like, I think it was enabling them to contact you and check your gameplay records or something along those lines.
Do you think like all these like measures are taken, do you think that's actually going to help them when it just comes, because we've had a lot of issues with bots pre-ordering consoles and just scalpers and stuff like that. Do you think these like measures that they're doing are actually going to help? Like,
I think definitely putting some barriers in the way of pre-ordering will actually make a difference, because these bots make a bunch of accounts, right? And then they all sign
like
up
they just, I'm guessing like a lot of it is automated too, right? It's probably like just an automated program that just makes a bunch of accounts.
Exactly. And then putting the barrier of having a certain amount of gameplay hours on your Switch One, I think is quite a crucial step. And I think people who are going to be pre-ordering probably already have a Switch One.
Right.
So I think it makes sense.
I saw a lot of people complain like, oh, you can't pre-order if you don't have like Nintendo Online. So you have to pay to pre-order. You know what I mean? Which I get, but at the same time...
I wasn't happy about that.
No, it's fair.
And I should mention this. I bought a year membership to pre-order because it was like $30 Canadian. And then like literally hours after, we hear it's being delayed.
Yeah, that's kind of cooked.
That pissed me off to no end.
Yeah, I guess you're supposed to go play like Nintendo Switch Online games to console yourself there. Go play, I don't know, Metroid, Super Metroid or something. But that kind of sucks. I kind of see the point, but also, I mean, dude, the scalping on PS5 was so bad. Yeah. I kind of like that the barrier to entry is so high that you need to spend to pre-order, which just sounds stupid, but...
No, because you and I both, we paid the impatience tax and bought scalper prices.
Oh my god, bro. I hate that this is even being said. Oh, dude, so... Oh man, I feel like such a...
We knew a guy who was
actually selling... Oh! Yeah, so...
We bought our PS5s for $800 Canadian, which was like what, like $200-300 above MSRP.
Yeah, a good chunk above MSRP.
But at this point, if we buy Switch 2 with the Mario Kart bundle at MSRP, we're paying that PS5 scalper
about the same price. Yeah. That's actually crazy, but yeah, I mean, that actually puts it in perspective. It makes it sting a bit less, weirdly, just because I'm thinking like, man, after tax, when I'm gonna cop the Switch 2, it's gonna be the same price as my scalped PS5.
And the best part will be that there will actually be games on the
There's
console.
There's that. The reason I was so disappointed with my PS5 was that like there's just so few games I actually played on it that is like depressing compared to PS4.
Yeah,
the generation before, like, man, it's crazy. I think there's like 3 games that I really loved on PS5. I'd say Elden Ring,
which was obviously not even like an
No,
exclusive.
like it was just like better on PS5 than like on PS4. But like Elden Ring, I played FF7 Rebirth, which I really loved.
That's a console seller,
Yeah,
in a way.
And I mean, I know you didn't click with this, but I really like Stellar Blade, obviously waifu game.
Not that I didn't click with it. I enjoyed it. I just kind of lost the motivation to finish it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's not a lot of games. If I'm thinking about the PS4, like the list is almost endless. Like as soon as I got my PS4, I had like MGS5, which was like life changing. Like it felt like that generational jump, which we didn't even get a game that felt like that for me in this generation. Bloodborne, Nier Automata, Dark Souls 3. There's just so many. I can't even list. Like there's just way too many.
This
games.
generation is pretty sad for the big hitters.
Yeah,
it's like a lot of people are relying on indie games to kind of provide new experiences in this generation, and it's been sad seeing what the big boys are doing.
Yeah, dude.
Generation.
Well, that's the thing. That's where like I'll give Nintendo credit. They're probably the only big company that's actually like.
Yeah, I wouldn't pre-order any other console.
No, I agree. See, that's the thing. Like for Nintendo, it's because I know that I'm getting like 10 years ish of like legit
Amazing
great games.
Great, like, great minimum.
Yeah. Now to be fair, even on Switch, like I'm not sure if I'm even right about that. Like I feel I might be overglazing because even on Switch, I feel Nintendo was way better than the other first parties.
For sure.
But I wouldn't say like that there was like always Nintendo games I needed to play. You know what I mean? Like
fair, but I'll say that Nintendo released exclusives like a couple every year.
That's true.
Whereas you don't see that with the competitors as much.
Yeah. I'd say like at least one every year, right?
Yeah, at least.
Like that I wanted to play. I mean, obviously more than one a year that they were releasing, but I just mean like, yeah, I mean, there was like Link's Awakening was great. They do a lot of remasters. I feel they've been doing more remasters now than
I haven't gotten the chance to really play any of them, but there's definitely this Mario RPG, Zelda.
Yeah, which is fine, but I if we remove the remasters, I feel like the new games that were great, like there was obviously Breath of the Wild at the start, Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe doesn't really count. That's like a Wii U game.
Yeah, it's a Wii U game, but then they added that pass with the new
yeah, for sure.
Later in the life cycle.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't pay for the extra thing just for extra courses in Mario Kart 8. Maybe for Mario Kart World, because that one actually looks really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I like maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm actually coping. And even Nintendo is actually like I don't want to say they're getting worse. I just feel like maybe every year like they're dropping a lot of games and a lot of them are quality games, but a lot of the quality games are like remasters and re-releases. Like
I don't know how much like besides the Zelda
there was like Metroid Prime remastered.
Metroid Prime, yeah, that's like
Paper Mario.
I didn't even know that happened.
Paper Mario Thousand Year Door came back as like a remastered title, which like is great. I love that game, but like I don't need to play it again. You know what I mean? Like so.
Fair, but I think there's a couple like Switch games that were like you need like worth buying the Switch for, and maybe not for us.
Sorry, I'm being overly negative too. My bad. Like I agree. By the way, like I don't want it to sound like I think the library is bad. It's way better than most other systems. They had Fire Emblem Three Houses, Mario Odyssey, Smash Ultimate.
You can't forget the biggest Switch seller during the pandemic, which was Animal Crossing.
I can't forget. Actually, I can. I can't forget about it.
We didn't play it. It's not quite. I loved Animal Crossing back in the day.
DS.
It's not kind of lost me, but. There's no denying the impact that had, especially bringing a lot of non-gamers into gaming.
A
lot of ladies, like girls we grew up with who you wouldn't think would never have played games.
True.
My sister-in-law, she's not a gamer at all.
Yeah.
She bought a Switch just to play
Animal Crossing.
Her cousin, her brother, they all bought separate Switches just to play Animal Crossing and then never touched the console again. Yeah. I think that kind of goes to show you the power that Nintendo has with consumers.
It's a good point.
Casual consumers.
Do you think they're... I mean, at that point, do you think they're going to do another one? Like, just for Switch?
Obviously, they're going to do one, but I think it's like how you and I predict with Smash. It's going to be a bit later in the life cycle of
I agree.
console.
I think it makes sense also. Like, I feel like they probably want to kind of target not just hardcore, but just like generally just more gamer type people early, because those are the kind of people that get a console early in the first place, right? Like, a lot of people, like, I'd say more casual, you probably... expect them to get something after it's already kind of normal to have. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's for the early adopters.
Yeah.
Like the early games. Like that Donkey Kong game is definitely an early adopter game. They're not, I don't think they're marketing Donkey Kong platformer. Obviously,
I don't know.
It will have some appeal, but I think they're not thinking about like the casual like Animal Crossing players when making a game like that.
I see your point. I think they're thinking two things though when they make a game. By the way, Donkey Kong looks amazing. Like,
Yeah,
super hyped
incredible,
for it.
yeah.
That's like the game I'm most excited for right now. I think for Switch 2. But I think when they're thinking about a game like that, they had the Mario movie recently. Donkey Kong had a pretty big role in that, and everybody loves Seth Rogen except me. So so I do feel like they're also just targeting kids, right? Like, I mean, a lot of kids saw the movie. They probably like Donkey Kong more now than ever. Like,
I guess to clarify, when I say casual gamers, I'm thinking of casual gamers, adult casual gamers,
bejeweled players.
Well, just in general, like I'm not like kids will like kind of look at what's colorful and looks fun and will kind of gravitate based off of that. But I think when I say adult casual gamers, I'm talking about like my sister-in-law and her brother and like.
No, I get your point. My point was more so just like I was just trying to broaden the top, because I'm just saying like, yeah, it is not for casual gamers, but it's also for kids, which I don't consider casual gamers, but I'm just saying that it's like they're not hardcore gamers either. Right. They're kids, they just like play what seems really fun and really cool and interesting at the time. I think Donkey Kong is kind of perfect for that, especially with like destruction mechanics. Like, I'm just thinking about myself as a kid when I'm looking at a game like Donkey Kong.
If something like that came out as a kid, like our minds would be
100%. I had like there was like a Hulk game on GameCube where you could break buildings and like jump, like kind of open world Saints Row-ish, but on GameCube, like jump on buildings, break them, just do whatever, throw cars. And I was like, I didn't even know what I was doing in that game. I was just pressing buttons. I just enjoyed it because it's just like I'm breaking stuff, it's sick. So yeah, for sure. I think kids are gonna love Donkey Kong if their parents can afford it.
Yeah, yeah. Things are expensive these days. I'm sure you viewers at home are aware of.
Yeah, it's rough, dude. It's really rough on that end. But yeah, I'm still probably gonna get one. Just
for sure. Yeah,
I'm cucked by Nintendo.
That's big Nintendo simps. And well, that brings me to my topic is like, what games are you excited for Nintendo to drop? What are your predictions?
Like that are not announced?
That are not announced. What series, games, and
That's
stuff
a good
you
question.
think?
I like that. I like that topic. Let's do that. I like that. Okay, for me, big one. I really didn't care much. Okay, not gonna say didn't care much. I love Fire Emblem. I love 3DS Fire Emblem, especially Awakening. I feel like on Switch, Fire Emblem was kind of introduced to a lot of people. So a lot of people talk about Fire Emblem Three Houses, the one with Byleth, as like being just the best. But I think it's because it's their only like Fire Emblem that they played. And then Engage came out, and Engage is kind of like a high effort spin-off. So I really want to see like a new Fire Emblem that is like on the level of Awakening on 3DS, or even I was just complaining about remasters, but dude, I would love a Fire Emblem Awakening remaster.
Can I say, like, I feel like this is the general sentiment of gamers these days, especially the ones who say, "Oh, we've lost all creativity. It's all remasters, rehashing things."
Yeah.
They're the same MFs who like will freaking beg for like, "Yo, please, that game I played on GameCube in 2005, please."
No, bro, it's different. 3DS is different because like, dude, 3DS games you just can't play them, bro. Like they're not fun to emulate.
That's fair.
Because when.
But how do you think porting 3DS games and DS games on Switch 2 would be?
I agree. Okay, two things. Actually, we could talk about this a little bit because there's a mouse feature now. But
fair, yeah. True.
But Fire Emblem is easy to port because the screen is just a menu, basically, right? Like I feel like all the mechanics that you have that make Fire Emblem work on a controller work just fine in Fire Emblem Awakening.
Right. I guess my question is more so about 3DS games in general.
Okay, so then it gets really cool. You haven't played Kid Icarus Uprising, right?
No, you've been telling me for years,
dude. No. It's made by Sakurai, so you already know it's like quality from the baseline. But I think it's like maybe my second favorite 3DS game after Fire Emblem Awakening. I think it's like amazing, and the controls hurt your hands in that game. Like if it's such a good game, you want to play it anyway. But basically, the way they had it control was. There was like a cursor on screen that is where Pit is aiming, and it's kind of like an action brawler shooter type of game, essentially, with like platforming and stuff like that. So you would like run around. There was even a competitive online mode in the game. Wow. Yeah. It was super sweaty too. Like people were actually crazy. But you would like run around and just like drag your pencil on the screen to aim around to shoot and stuff, and it was super super fun. But God damn it, I would really like to play that with a mouse. Like, I feel like with a mouse, that would be perfect.
That could be, or maybe just a new Kid Icarus in general.
I don't think they would do a sequel to that. Like, just because it'd be so weird to have, like, you play a sequel to a game that you can only play on a handheld from like 13 years ago. I don't know.
I feel like Nintendo's must
They
have
could
some
do it.
cases that they've done something
You
like
think?
that.
I've kind of-
Sequels to like obscure game, or like sequels to games that are kind of
Yeah.
locked on an older console.
I mean, I guess they
But
have.
what like if they did a sequel, I'm sure they would like do a port of the first game and like as like a build up to the.
Yeah, they could. I'm not sure how they would want to go about it. That's the one thing I don't like about modern games. It's also like you're not allowed to just port a thing just mechanically without upping the graphics. Like, I would love if they just took Kid Icarus Uprising, literally the same graphics, nothing.
You'd
They
want
just-
it upscaled though, at least. Right?
Well, yeah, for sure, but I just mean like you don't need to change, like, make new models. Or I
Right.
don't want you to
Textures and
put
stuff.
any work into it. Just make it so I can play the game on my TV with a different control setup, and I'd pay like $20 for it, and it's like whatever. You put in no work almost. You're just changing the control scheme basically, and it's just people wouldn't really accept that these days. You have to like rebuild the game.
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to like look
Unless
at how
they
good this
sold
looks.
it like at a lower price, then I think consumers would.
I don't think they would do that though. Like, I don't.
That they wouldn't,
No.
but like I think that's a way you could get consumers to be
That's true.
okay with what you're proposing.
That's fair, because I feel like $20, like $20, you drop like that game, I'd buy it day one for sure. I love that game. So yeah,
I'll mention a series or a franchise I'd love to see. Well, obviously you
yeah,
and
my
I
bad. I
both.
fucking yapped for like 5 hours. What are
That's all
games you
good.
want to see on the Switch?
Obviously, we both are excited, hyped, ecstatic about like the new Smash. Who knows when if that happens,
Yeah.
and who knows when? We're guessing probably like 2-3 years into Switch 2's life cycle
I'm thinking
minimum.
2, 3,
Yeah.
4 years. Even.
Yeah. But well, before I tell you which games, like, and we talked about this earlier. Do you think that they're gonna port Ultimate to Switch 2, or it's gonna be like a definitive edition type thing, or what?
I feel like if they were to, they would have already announced, because they're doing Switch editions of games, right? Like
Right.
doing a Switch edition of Zelda or whatever.
Well, aren't those like updates?
Switch 2 edition, I mean. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, you pay 10 extra to get like a enhanced version of the game,
Which
basically.
shouldn't be paid. Let's be honest. That's kind of scummy that they.
Yeah, or at least they should all be free. Not just some of them be free when you have the
original game.
No, they offer it when you get Nintendo Online Premium.
Oh, yeah.
But not all, like, so far from what I understand, not all of them are necessarily included, like the upgrade. So I feel like if they were gonna do Switch 2 upgrades, they should just give them for free with the Nintendo Online like premium package. I feel like that package doesn't really. Okay, I don't want to complain about it too much because it's so much cheaper than like
The competitors.
the competitors,
Yeah.
but I do feel like they should offer a little bit more for the premium Nintendo Online package. But yeah.
Yeah, but to jump back into the series or franchises that I'm really excited to see come back, or hopefully see new
Hopefully.
entries in. Yeah. Well, first of all, obviously this is on everyone's mind. What's the next Zelda game? Are they going to kind of continue with the open world?
Dude, I don't think they do
formula?
it. I'm hoping they don't do another Breath of the Wild.
I'm kind of hoping. Well, like the older Zelda, like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, they're all kind of open world in a way. I guess Zelda through to its roots, like it's
The first Zelda is an open world.
Yeah.
In a sense. Yeah.
in a sense, like where you have like, especially in the later games, like I guess in the beginning of those games that I mentioned, like it's kind of a bit more linear and streamlined. But then as you get into the mid to late game, you kind of can
access
go
to
between
everything.
areas
Yeah,
as
yeah.
much as you want. So I'd like to just kind of see that formula of Zelda, but with like the open zones philosophy of game design that's we've seen recently, games like Metro Exodus, where you have like
Okay, I thought you were gonna say open zones and like Sonic Frontiers, and I was like,
hold on.
okay, bro.
No, but like you get kind of like smaller open worlds that you kind of
I see what you're
are
saying.
different stages. I would like to see a Zelda kind of follow that with some of that Breath of the Wild open world exploration and encouraging you to kind of check all corners of the map. But obviously, as every Zelda fan has complained about, these fucking temples need to be better, dude.
But I think it just doesn't lend itself, like the type of games they're making with the current. By the way, I don't think it's going to change. I think you're getting a Breath of the Wild 3.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think it's just doesn't really make sense with the game design they're going for to have better temples. Like I think they know, and I'm pretty sure they tried to make them better too in Tears of the Kingdom from what I saw, but kind of still failed. It just slightly better than the first one, you know. But I think really the problem is just the way that they're doing the super open-ended game design kind of limits. I feel like restrictions kind of help with game design in some ways, especially for something like dungeons and stuff like that. I guess, do you just mean like the vibe of the dungeons?
Well, like way better, like atmosphere in the dungeons is definitely needed, like the older games.
Yeah, that they can definitely do.
But what I really miss about the older Zelda games is like the unique items you get in each dungeon.
Right.
And I get like that's kind of part of the point of keeping it open ended, choosing which dungeon you want to do first. So you don't want to get items that you would. Like, you'd be missing a hook shot and you can't get into this temple or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think, first of all, I think a hook shot is severely needed in this open world.
True.
Like,
that would be sick, actually.
hook shot has always been, like, one of my favorite Zelda items. It's just such a cool,
so cool. Yeah, it's fire.
And so, like, please, Nintendo, add back hook shots.
Please.
You can do so much open-ended, like, game design with a hook shot. Like, it would open all these new...
That actually yeah, you're right, though. It does lend itself really well to that philosophy.
Yeah.
Like the Breath of the Wild, like, game design philosophy. I think it is open-ended enough.
Have you ever played Just Cause, those games?
I, booted a Just Cause game for, 2 hours, and I was just
But
bored.
you played around with, like, the hook shot parachute
Yeah,
mechanic?
it was cool.
But that, would fit
that would be fire,
perfectly
yeah.
in Breath of the
Okay.
Wild. Or, in that type of game design.
Yeah.
Just traversing Hyrule, way cooler. But so, yeah, that's one of my games. Definitely want to see where they take Zelda next, and I'm sure, almost every Switch owner probably does as well.
Yeah.
And
I think that's going to be late, also. I think Zelda is going to be really late. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom is pretty recent, right?
Yeah, but, Breath of the Wild was, a dual generation drop, and Tears of the Kingdom came out last year or 2 years ago.
Last year, yeah, I think 2 years ago, something like
2
that.
years ago,
Either way,
yeah.
pretty recent,
2023, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
But we'll probably be till 26, 27 till we probably get even word of
yeah, the word. Okay. I thought you were gonna say for release. I was like, I don't know, dude. The space between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild was absurd, right? So
how long was that? Do you remember?
dude, I actually, oh man, how long was that? That was Wii to the end of Wii U start of Switch, and it wasn't even the end of Wii when Skyward Sword came out. I think it was must have been at least 8 years because people were freaking out. People were sick of waiting.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about the drought, the Zelda drought we had for a little while.
Yeah, there was a huge drought. People were super, and plus having a Wii U was depressing as it is.
You and I are some of the 300 Wii U owners on the planet.
Well, I actually really enjoyed Nintendo during the Wii U era. I don't really like how smug they are now. I liked how struggle mode Nintendo was during Wii U era. They were just they would basically suck your dick at a certain point. They were like, thank you, bro. Thanks for owning our games. Thanks for having a Wii U, bro. Let me suck your cock.
I guess Nintendo needs some periods of humbling. But right now, I think what they're going to do with Switch 2 is humble Sony and Xbox. Yeah. Which is what I'm happy to see.
Well, I don't know, dude. They're going to humble them, but then they're also going to go hey, Sony, have you considered you can price your games at $80 USD? You should try that.
True.
You should try it.
Sony would have some nerve with the 2 games per 10 years that they release.
Sony thinks they're freaking Apple, bro. They think they're so sleek and sexy, True. Even though they're actually whack as hell, bro. They're I don't even know, bro. They lost all luster for me, bro. I really can't buy into it when they're trying to be all presenting super fancy or whatever. It's dude, you guys are not making shit. You're doing nothing.
Yeah. And one other game I gotta mention, and it's thanks to you that I got into this series, is the Mother series. I would love to see.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the most memed, begging of a company to make a game or port a game. Obviously, Mother 3. But I would love to see a new Mother game.
A new?
Yeah. Or a spiritual successor of some sort.
We would need the same director, right? I don't think that guy wants to make games.
Well, I'll say a spiritual successor with maybe him consulting.
Okay.
I think we need obviously indie games are filling this gap of quirky RPGs.
Right.
But I love seeing, as I've gotten into JRPGs in the last 2 years, because I was a hater before and now I'm a big fan. I just would love to see a new Nintendo JRPG, not Fire Emblem. That's a tactical RPG. I want to see a traditional.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
that's not Pokemon, obviously.
Yeah, because Pokemon sucks ass.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I didn't even really think much about Earthbound coming back. I feel at best maybe they would do a Link's Awakening style
would love
remake.
to see that, especially for Mother 3.
Yeah,
that would make a lot of people say it's kind of impossible.
No, I disagree. I think it's the opposite. I think because they were never able to release Mother 3 over here, it'd be more likely that Mother 3 gets a remake.
Well, I was just saying more so like a lot of people say that porting that game to America.
That's why.
But they would have to. Like, well, I know a lot of it comes down to legal reasons. There's like sampling in that game that wasn't cleared.
I think there's also just culturally like some stuff that just doesn't like land anymore these days, from what I heard. Like, which whatever. But I'm pretty sure if you do a remake, you know, like Link's Awakening style remake, then you have a bit more liberty of just cutting stuff, whereas like if you're just translating the game to re-release it, that's where you get issues, I think. And it's not because I want them to cut that stuff out. I'm just saying, if I'm thinking in Nintendo's shoes, they've had this game that everyone wants and they know everyone pirates for like 20 years, like, and they want to make money on it. Finally, you do like a Link's Awakening style thing, every YouTuber is gonna shit their pants, Arlo's gonna cry, you know, like yeah, dude, Topic Arlo is gonna cry.
Arlo, we don't want any smoke, okay?
No,
we know you're a big boss.
That guy's fired. That guy's fired. But no, he would fuck me up for sure. But yeah, no, he would shit his pants. He would shit his pants if we got a remake for Mother 3, and I think everyone would be like pretty into it.
Yeah, it's one of the first few JRPGs I've gone into since I've gone back into JRPGs, and it was thanks to James here lending me one of his
little retro handhelds, emulation handhelds. I talk about those on my streams all the time.
Yeah,
I'm actually addicted to those.
But James, lent me one while I was living in a different city, and I got a lot of hours on that, just playing Mother 3 and playing some classic JRPGs, Golden Sun.
Oh God. That's Sun. Nintendo too.
Have they not added that to the online?
Yeah, but that could be another way for them to make a new JRPG that I think is more likely.
Yeah.
Because like, first of all, Golden Sun, it's not as authorial. Is that the word? Like as Earthbound has an author, right, or whatever. Like it's like really an auteur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah,
it's not as directed and
right. Like
it's not like one man's vision, I guess.
That's what I mean. Like it's not because I feel like Mother. It's kind of like. It's like a Hideo Kojima thing where it's like if Konami tries to release a new Metal Gear Solid that's not a remaster,
right?
You know, it's kind of like, well, where's Hideo Kojima?
Right,
like, you can't make it. That's kind of how I feel about Mother. I feel like
I guess Itoi's name is really like synonymous with the series.
Exactly, but I feel like Golden Sun, that's not really the case as much. Like
more traditional. Most people don't know who the director is.
It's a more traditional JRPG franchise, and JRPGs are just huge now. Like they're way bigger than they were for a long time.
It's been a renaissance for sure.
Yeah. Like PS1 was like their golden era, they were the biggest, and then I'd say around Persona 5 era they started getting popular again. And last year, like we had like 3 JRPGs named as like Game of the Year. We had Rebirth. Well, Rebirth kind of counts. Metaphor. Okay, maybe just 2, but still. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. So yeah, I could definitely see Nintendo being like, okay, JRPG money is kind of nice. We kind of want JRPG money. Maybe it's time to bring back Golden Sun.
Yeah, or even you know how they did Mario RPG? Maybe seeing them take one of the other franchises and making an RPG with that.
That would be cool. Sick.
I don't know what could be a good
do you think? Wait. How would you? I want to know. You might not like it, but how would you feel if they made like a Zelda JRPG?
I was gonna recommend that. I think that would be super fire. Zelda 2 was kind of a JRPG.
Well, it's an action RPG.
It was action RPG, I guess, but like. You saw like going into the towns and the overworld and the shops and everything.
By the way, shout out Sheep Lass. Shout or Sheep Lad or whatever. Shout out. If you guys love Zelda 2, go check out Sheep Lad on Twitter. It'll come out in like 10 years. It'll be really good.
Yeah, it's a cool
game. Sorry. Back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I think a Zelda RPG could be cool. What I'm just thinking was like, how would a party work? But then I also think about Tears of the Kingdom and how you kind of recruit the different. You haven't really played Tears of the Kingdom, but you go to the different temples or whatever, and then you meet like the Goron representative or the Zora representative, and then you kind of get like a phantom ghost of them that kind of has some active effects that you can use throughout while adventuring the world. So I guess in that sense, you could see a party develop of like. A Goron representative, a Zora representative. And
I think you don't even need that, because if it's like a Zelda JRPG, like it's fine. Other characters in Zelda talk. Like I think it'd just be a more story focused Zelda overall, right? Like, because like honestly, Zelda could be in the party in the Zelda JRPG. You could have like an Aerith moment where Zelda gets taken away from your party and then you have to save her. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a bunch of like you don't need a ghost of a Goron. You just have a Goron. Like,
I just meant more so that like. You do actually get companions in that game that join you on your adventure in some sense.
That's fair.
So I guess it wouldn't be too foreign to the Zelda formula. And then then you could have that traditional
Right, dungeon.
dungeon.
Like, yeah.
You know what would be really cool actually is just to have like the 2D Zelda formula with the puzzles and stuff.
Oh, but
then have the battles
turn-based
be turn-based.
combat.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be fire as hell.
Yeah.
I guess some of the puzzle elements might be ruined a little bit, right? Because a lot of Zelda is like, oh, there's an enemy. 2D Zelda is like,
Right.
oh, there's an enemy here. Throw my boomerang here, to like traverse this area. So I guess they'd have to mess with that formula a little bit, but I feel like Zelda is kind of it's just it kind of works well for that because a lot of Zelda puzzles have no enemies too.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, and it's just like interfacing. You're using your weapons and your tools to interface with the world. So I'm not sure, but that could be a thing.
Yeah.
I think Kirby also would make a good turn-based RPG.
Kirby
honestly.
could be a good one. And I was gonna I'm blanking now, but Kirby's definitely a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it'd be kind of dumb to do it for Fire Emblem. So, like, I'm thinking of like big Nintendo franchises. I think F-Zero is dead. I think. I mean, they're releasing
I
GX.
could see a return of F-Zero and Switch 2.
Really?
I'm gonna think. My guess is with the GameCube Online one that you're gonna get to play on Switch 2.
Yeah.
We'll maybe see kind of like how popular it is, and maybe kind of that could put in Nintendo's crosshairs. Like, oh crap, people are interested.
I don't think it's gonna be that popular. It's like the hardest. It's honestly the hardest game I've ever played. Like, it's harder than Souls games. Like when you actually do the stuff you need to do in the game.
They could streamline it for modern audiences, and that could be like.
I mean, they would if they made a new. But I'm also just thinking, like, how many racing games do we actually need on Switch 2? They're dropping on the same Switch Direct. We have Mario Kart World announced, and then we got Kirby Air Riders announced.
Oh, true, Air Riders.
Yeah. So
I forget, is that a remake or it's a new game?
I'm pretty sure it's just a sequel.
Yeah,
it's a sequel, which I'm happy. I love Air Ride. As a kid, I thought Air Ride was awesome. But I'd be really, to be fair, on GameCube, there's Mario Kart Double Dash, F-Zero GX, and Kirby Air Ride. So it's not impossible, but I don't think Nintendo is going to bring back F-Zero. I think they're giving you GX because it's the best F-Zero game ever. And they're like, look, if you like F-Zero, play F-Zero GX,
Yeah.
You could be right, though. And I will say, I think F-Zero has a bigger chance than, like, Star Fox. I think Star Fox is...
You think Star Fox is dead?
Bro, there's just... Let's be real, bro. The games are boring, bro. Like, no one...
I've never played the... I've only played Adventures.
They're boring. Okay, yeah, Adventure is just a Zelda game. That doesn't count.
Which I loved as a kid.
Yeah, because you like Zelda games.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like... And I mean, no offense, like, I get that people love Star Fox because they have fond memories of it, but, like, the games are just basically shoot 'em ups. Like, like, they're...
You don't think there's a way to kind of add new mechanics and
They've tried on Wii U, bro. Everyone hated it. Every time they try... If they try to stray too far from the formula, no one cares about it. And if they try to improve or, like, just add things to the basic Star Fox formula, it just ends up being boring and or people hate it because it's doing weird stuff. I don't know. I just feel like that formula is just dead.
Give me Star Fox. Okay, Nintendo, if you're not gonna do Zelda back in the traditional style, give me another Star Fox Adventures. I'll take that.
Yeah, now the traditional Zeldas are Star Fox.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they could, build Fox's brand name that way.
Honestly, I'm not even against that. If they wanted to take that route with Star Fox of just, like, you have space travel because you're going to different planets.
Yeah.
But the main gameplay is not even the ship. It's actually, like, just dungeons and shit,
Yeah, from Star Fox Adventure, they had, like, those segments. I can't remember if they were interspersed throughout the game or not, or if it was just the end game. I was a really young kid when I played it, but there was some of the space fighting. And when I was a kid, I thought this is what Star Fox was. I didn't even know that, like, Star Fox was actually, like, a space shooter.
Basically, yeah. I mean, I could definitely... I think that would be a pretty good... I don't know. I don't care. I don't really care about Star Fox, to be honest. But if they did anything with it, I'll say this, like, just to be fair to people that like the traditional style, I think they could also turn Star Fox into kind of a thing where they make a game every now and then that's like a $20 like just a simple on-rail shooter, because the N64 game, really, if that's what most people would say, I'd say consider like the Star Fox GOAT is the N64 Star Fox game. Like, if you made that game with modern graphics, let's say if that game came out today, it'd be like a $10 like short little romp. You shooting stuff up. It's low effort. So if Nintendo wants to just turn Star Fox into like kind of like one of their C or B budget series, I think that could be a way to do it.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. That's the thing about F-Zero. I think you can't do F-Zero low effort. I think F-Zero doesn't work low effort because of GX on GameCube being just...
I've never played it. So
dude, it looks like an Xbox 360 game. Like it's just this is probably the most graphically impressive game on GameCube. It's pretty crazy.
Was the SNES one also like kind of groundbreaking?
Well, yeah, because like that was it. That's what they were using to like promote their 3D effects chip on the SNES and stuff. Like, so F-Zero is just kind of like you kind of have to put a lot of effort into it. You can't do a low effort F-Zero. People will not be happy. I guess you can. They did do F-Zero 99, which was like Tetris 99, but for F-Zero.
Yeah, I remember.
I guess you can do that. Yeah. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's kind of who cares about that?
Yeah. Any other series that you want to see from come back that like or like just come to Switch to whatever, like a new series that we haven't really heard about?
I'm trying to think because
maybe we should,
honestly, I'm thinking of the Smash roster.
I think we should just get into Smash. Like we should just talk about
where we think Smash is headed.
Yeah.
Well, I also wanted to touch on the mouse on the Switch too. We kind of brushed over it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some Smash first.
Yeah, let's talk about Smash. I think we can end the podcast talking about the mouse a bit. But we gotta talk about Smash. This is Smash, by the way, is like the reason that we're even friends.
Yeah.
Like my entire friend circle almost was built just going to like a local that you organized. Like when I was in high school. Yeah,
back in the Smash 4 days. We're in a small town, like 11,000 people.
Yeah, tiny town.
There was a store, and my friend owns it.
You sound old as fuck. Yeah. There was a video store where you could buy
it used to
DVDs.
be able to rent games and rent DVDs.
Oh my god, I'm old. Holy shit.
But my friend, one of my best friends owns the store, and so I had just watched the Smash documentary like not long before, and I was like so obsessed with the idea of competitive Smash that I was like, I'm gonna organize a local tournament, and so I advertised it on Facebook groups and stuff, and James was attended the tournament on the Facebook group at least, and me and my brother, at this time, like in my friend group, we all thought my brother was like the GOAT at Smash. Like, no one can beat this guy. He's the best in Canada, even though we had never been to tournaments. So we thought this is gonna be like an easy racket, getting these chumps money.
Also, like on the Facebook page, I was like being like turbo autistic. Like I was like I asked about the rules on some shit, and they like explained to me the rules. Like I think it was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be best of 3, whatever. And I was like, amazing, truly, which became a bit of a meme.
That became a meme, and we just saw his profile picture, like, who is this guy, bro? Like, we were laughing our asses off, like, we're gonna rob this guy of his money. And then this guy came to the tournament and he won.
Yeah.
And then from there, me and my brother like, we gotta become friends with this guy, invite him over and play Smash with him. And that's kind of how our friendship bloomed.
Yeah, dude, it's just because I labbed Ness down throws for a couple weeks, and it got me a couple of friends from that tournament. But yeah,
Smash Bros is like a super near and dear series to our hearts, to our relationship, really, like our friendship.
It's possibly it's definitely my favorite. I think it's my favorite game series, even though I don't really think of it that way. It's just like the fact that it's my entire friend circle is like basically predicated upon Smash existing.
A lot of my closest friends with Ultimate, that whole group we had when I was living in Ottawa.
Yeah, I don't even think I'd be nearly as big of a Nintendo fan today if it wasn't for just the history that Smash had. Yeah, like so I love this series, and I care a lot about where it's going to go in the future, and I'm a bit worried actually about Smash in the future.
Yeah, as I'm sure some of you might have heard, like there's a lot of concern about where do you go from here. Ultimate was so over the top, so like bombastic, everyone is here. And there was a sense of finality when they kind of said that all that everyone is here marketing. Yeah,
well, it's also because Sakurai, it's been like 3 games that he's like, okay guys, after this, bro, I'm done, bro. This is my last one, bro. I'm done after this.
Do you think the Smash series benefits if he's not the director of the
I hate even saying that. Like, I think that's I know a lot of people feel that way, and I understand like that.
I do.
His like design philosophy is kind of kooky in a way. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, like he's the genius that created this series. I don't think Ultimate exists in the way it does without Sakurai. And I also think like, when it comes to like his input on the games, I think it's a lot better than a lot of people actually give it credit for. Like, I'm not convinced that you take a company like Nintendo and you put someone else at the helm of Smash and it randomly becomes, like, more competitive. Like, he actually did listen. He, like, look at... People complain about Brawl. Mm-hmm. He removed tripping. Yeah. People complain about how slow Smash 4 was. He made it faster for Ultimate.
That's
like,
true.
He's still trying to iterate on it. I agree that... Like, when you look at HDR, you're like, oh my god, I wish Ultimate was this. When you look at Rivals of Aether, you're like... oh, dude, this is crazy. I wish that I had super fast, snappy movements.
Yeah.
But I still feel like I think Sakurai probably doesn't want it to be that, scary for like casual players, but he's still like actually trying to make it more appealing to us, I would say.
You're not wrong. I just think also like this guy loves to complain about like how hard he has to work on these things. I think he deserves the break. But
well, he's doing Air Riders now.
Yeah,
so
but surely he has like a protege that's like someone who's under him, who's kind of like his, like that he's mentoring.
Sure.
And I think that could be a person who'd probably be fit. I'm sure like what I think like the ideal scenario would be is like his protege who probably has like a more like zoomer competitive gamer mindset. Also, but with him consulting, because we saw with Street Fighter 6, it was two new directors who were kind of like
okay, that's a good point.
Came up at Capcom and
they
really revolutionized.
They also saved. You got to keep in mind they also saved Street Fighter 5 before making Street Fighter 6. Like they were the dudes that like I don't know if you remember.
I wasn't aware that it was them who like
like they were the ones doing all those like Street Fighter 5 directs at the end of Street Fighter 5 when the game was becoming good.
Right, when Luke was revealed and all that stuff.
Yeah, when the game was becoming good towards its last couple of years, and then obviously Street Fighter 6 is great. So like that's not a bad point. I'm not saying that Smash doesn't need new blood or anything. I think the thing about Nintendo actually this generation that's going to be interesting is a lot of the old faces are going to get swapped out. And we already saw that with the Switch 2 Direct. The faces, like, let's be real, they were not
the executives and stuff.
The people, just the people in general. A lot of the people working at Nintendo are getting older, and like it's about time that they start slowing down or start retiring. Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of scary for Nintendo because like they were kind of being protected almost, it seems, by a lot of those like older values. So I'm a bit worried about it. I feel like Nintendo's philosophy is changing at the same time that you're seeing these people leave the company. Like, which is why you're seeing something like the prices go way up. Nintendo used to be more affordable, stuff like that.
You're right.
So anyway, point being, I could definitely see a new face for Smash and it being like a good thing for the series, but I really don't like the idea of like talking about like basically a genius, like an artistic genius, a game design genius like Sakurai and being like, oh, if this guy wasn't there, Smash series would be better. I don't think that's actually true. I think it's like if someone else was there, it could be better, but it could also literally be worse.
Yeah, well, in my ideal world, I see Sakurai still consulting and being like a producer of some sort or something on the game, still giving his input, but at the end of the day, I'm of the opinion that, we need some new blood for that series.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Nintendo agrees because like I'm sure because Smash Ultimate is like I think third best selling game on Switch. Like
makes sense.
Yeah, and
for a lot of people, it was the reason to even buy a Switch.
Yeah, like for me, like
for us. Yeah.
I mean, it's in other generations, Smash was the reason I bought a Switch. I also feel like people don't care about Smash as much right now.
The generation.
Oh, sorry. I mean, I just mean I bought.
Yeah, we only bought a Wii U for Smash.
Yeah, I bought a Wii U for Smash. I enjoyed my Wii U. I had a lot of things that I liked about it, and Bayonetta 2 is a masterpiece. But at the end of the day, I bought it to play Smash, and I played a lot of Smash on it. So I felt like I got my money's worth. I
don't even think I played much else on my Wii U other than Smash 4.
Yeah, I mean, I played Smash, and I played Bayonetta 2, and I played. I think that's about it, dude.
To be fair, my Wii U was kidnapped from me.
Oh, true.
Which is some lore. Maybe one day we'll drop.
But yeah, anyway, so back to the Smash topic. Anyway, that's just the new face thing kind of annoys me a little bit, just because I think people kind of downplay how much good Sakurai does just because they don't like certain mechanics or certain like small changes in Smash when like really the ambition behind the Smash series is like crazy. There are things I don't like about Sakurai, don't get me wrong. I hate that he's so petty about people posting cutscenes of Brawl that we still don't have another Subspace Emissary.
That's why?
Yes.
He didn't like that people posted the cutscenes. That's why
he openly complained. Yes, he literally said that's why instead he does super high effort character trailers now, like that are super expensive, instead of doing a Subspace Emissary cutscenes and stuff. Like that's the thing. That's the thing. I thought that was the reason you wanted him gone. To be honest.
Well, I know he can be very protective and kind of stubborn about things.
Yeah,
but like that's in the
because it's his baby. To be fair, like that's his baby franchise. Fair. Like, but anyway, so
I don't think he's that protective and like weird about Kirby, is he? There's been like some weird Kirby spin-offs and whatnot.
Yeah, but honestly, also like he's a lot more hands off on Kirby now than he used to be. Like I don't think Sakurai worked on the Kirby 3D platformer. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like if he can learn to that, like Kirby is his original baby, right? So
Yeah, sure, but I think he holds Smash in higher regard because of its cultural impact compared to Kirby.
True.
Like Smash is kind of a generational game.
Yeah.
Kirby really isn't. Like Kirby is great, but it's not like generational.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. Anyway,
So where does Smash go from here?
Yeah,
There's like
that's the
countless videos
point.
on this, but
yeah. So I mean, there's like two takes, right? Like I don't know which side you're on. I think there's like two ways to go about it. There's either the reboot, which is like smaller roster, new graphics, beautiful new graphics, new movesets, smaller roster, hopefully Subspace Emissary story mode,
yeah.
or the opposite, which is more characters build again upon the foundation of Smash 4 on Wii U that then became Ultimate. So now it's like Ultimate Deluxe or whatever, and then you have like 100 characters, more stages, potentially add a story mode. Now, because what else are you going to do with this freaking game that you're releasing for the third time, basically? And just keep adding stuff to the base that is Smash 4 on Wii U.
I am of the same opinion as you. We need a reboot.
I think so, dude.
We need new art style.
That's that's the big thing.
This like
I've had enough.
to be honest, that Ultimate art style, that's a Smash 4 art style as well. It feels very corporate. It doesn't.
It does, yeah. And Nintendo's moved on from it too.
Yeah.
I mean, like Nintendo right now, like if you look, even Mario Kart 8 is the same comparison, right? You let Mario Kart 8 compared to Mario Kart World, you see, wow, the art styles are changing. They're more lively, more soulful, more fun. Nintendo
are fun.
Like they used to look a lot more corporate, and the new Donkey Kong design is another example.
Exactly.
Like Nintendo is moving in that direction.
And in that sense, I do get some hope about like, man, that jump from N64 to Melee to Melee
to Brawl.
Brawl with that edgy like 2000s
Honestly,
art style, you know.
Smash 4 era, it was exciting.
It was
going to
new.
Brawl to Smash 4 was exciting. It was Smash 4 to Switch to Ultimate that I was like, bro, we've seen these character models.
Remember all the BS online? Oh, this is just a port. This is just a port. Like
because
of the art style.
No, it is basically a port. It's basically Tears of the Kingdom. Dude, they just
but you wouldn't say Tears of the Kingdom is a port.
No, but it's building upon, like, a lot of people would say that it's basically like a glorified DLC. Because they're taking, like, the game and they're just adding a bunch of stuff to it. And I love Ultimate, but it is, like, kind of a Smash 4 DLC in a way.
Yeah.
Like, with, like, better controls, new systems and stuff like that. Better controls in parenthesis, by the way. Smash 4 feels better to play. Sure, it doesn't have, like, this... it's a bit slower, it's floatier. But at least it doesn't have input lag. Yeah. Like, Smash Ultimate input lag is so annoying.
It's and the HDR, by the way, guys,
fixes
that. Makes the game feel so much more fluid.
Yeah. So also, like, I think we're a bit harsher on Smash than a lot of people would be talking about Smash right now because we're fresh off of playing HDR and we're just thinking about how much better it is.
We're also just like such like sweaty fans, lovers of the series that we hold in such high esteem that we feel it deserves the criticism because we want to see it at its best.
So I want to talk a bit more about just the reason people think that they wouldn't do a reboot, because I think it's a pretty interesting... I disagree with people on this, but a lot of people say if they were to do a reboot, basically it would make no sense because their sales pitch for the last one was everyone is here, and it would just feel like a downgrade. Do you agree with that stance for a reboot?
I feel like that's a boardroom opinion. That's like a room of executives being like, oh, well, the market last time showed that like when you add more characters, sales go up.
Yeah.
Which could very well influence the decision, as we're seeing like with the prices. You can see that Nintendo's, not that they have never been business minded, but you can see they're kind of playing into a more.
I think it's the new faces.
It's the new faces, but I think like. Honestly, if they added more than what's already in Ultimate, Sakurai would collapse and end up in the hospital or something. This guy worked himself so hard for Ultimate. I can't imagine just adding more on top of that.
You can also just let Ultimate be Ultimate. I think a lot of people have like a real... Okay, I'm just going to give you my take. Did people decide, I'm not going to get Street Fighter 6 because Street Fighter 5 has more characters? No, it was the best-selling Street Fighter.
Yeah.
I think ever, or since Street Fighter 2.
It's a valid point.
Seriously, I don't understand this argument. Why did people buy Street Fighter 6? Because it has better graphics. It looks flashy and cool and new, and people want the new thing. That's it. I don't really... dude, there's no world where a smaller roster makes people not want to buy Smash. People buy Smash day one.
Yeah.
They just buy it. Like it's Smash. So I really don't like that take. I think it's not
Also,
true.
marketing around, like, if it's gonna go how we want it to, like overhauling all the characters, all new moves,
And the graphics, dude,
Yeah.
it's just that easy. Like really, like this game looks better. People love that. Like it's really that simple, dude.
Yeah,
Look at Mario Kart. It has less tracks. It has less characters, less everything than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Who the fuck is talking about, oh man, I got way more stuff in Mario Kart 8.
Does it have less characters? It's got all these weird, like,
I mean, yeah, by now, yeah. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, oh, maybe not less characters, but no, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has like Link and Splatoon and all this stuff. Maybe not less characters, but I'm just saying, like, content-wise, there's definitely more courses and stuff to do right now at release in Mario Kart 8, but no one cares. It's like, no, I don't want to play Mario Kart 8. I want to play the new Mario Kart. You know what I mean? I think it's the same for Smash. Like, I think you get a Brawl-sized roster, or maybe Smash 4 base size roster at most, but I don't even think you need that. I think Brawl size is perfect, honestly.
Brawl was like 36?
Yeah, 30-something characters.
Like that, yeah.
It's a big roster.
I feel like 40 is a good number.
Yeah, like, dude, when Brawl came out, that roster looked massive, like giant. And it still is. There's no fighting games coming out with a roster the size of Brawl, dude.
True, it's always added, like, an additional content after.
Like 10 years later, it has the same amount if you're lucky. Like it's just never happening. So I think, you know, having a nice refresh with like really cool animations and new graphics, and I don't just mean graphics like better like models and stuff, but I mean like new cool
art style.
Yeah, art style, anime. You know, like in Street Fighter 6, I was really excited about like the graffiti style.
Yeah,
you know, you do like your drive impact, you get that big splash of paint and stuff like that.
Yeah, like a central like motif.
I want more style.
Yeah.
I want the new Smash Bros. To have like style and have like a stylistic identity. Because Brawl had one, Melee had one, Smash 64 had like the toy concept and theme. You know, so they all had that except basically Ultimate. Like, you know, and Smash 4 kind of. Yeah, both Smash 4 and Ultimate are kind of like stuck in that Nintendo art style of like post Wii, where they were just like ultra corporate, because the corporate kind of friendly corporate way that they did the Wii marketing was just so successful for Nintendo at the time. But they're moving on from that. So yeah, I think Reboot makes more sense personally. But I would buy the fucking Ultimate.
You'd buy whatever.
I'd buy Ultimate too, like whatever.
And you know, well, all the new Smash, we wait for the new Smash game. We have HDR, so you know, we're eating good. We're waiting.
Yeah, that's the thing too. That's why I'm also not as like, oh my god, I need this console to play Smash. I'm actually thinking about other games this time around. Yeah, because I'm loving HDR so much that I'm like, I'm pretty sure the next Smash I'm not gonna like as much as just playing the HDR mod of Ultimate. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna play it and it's gonna be awesome because I love Smash Bros. But I really don't think Nintendo can like scratch that itch the same way that like fans who know exactly are doing something catered to me specifically.
Exactly.
You know, so I'm just gonna play because it's Smash and I love it, and everyone's gonna want to play it. You know, but yeah, it's more of a cultural moment at that point when a new Smash comes out.
Yeah, and then you know the reveals of characters. Maybe we'll see an ARMS rep. You know. Because it's the most underrated.
No, we're gonna have like the wheelchair. We're gonna have the wheelchair rep. The wheelchair basketball rep, dude.
We're gonna get the tutorial game they're adding.
Oh yeah, just the blue like silhouette guy with a Joy-Con 2 in hand. Yeah, no, they should make that a paid DLC to get that guy. Yeah.
But to move on further in Switch 2 talks,
we wanted to talk about the mouse. Yeah, I think that's going to be.
You and I were talking like this might be the console for first-person shooters.
This is the crazy thing. I fucking love the mouse. Okay,
you do, yeah.
I think people are really, really, really downplaying just how big of a deal that mouse feature is. Like, yeah, okay, it's a Joy-Con. The shape is weird. There's probably going to be an attachment. That's whatever. The point being, for the first time ever, there is going to be a console on the market that is like as good, if not better than PC to play PC games.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is it's going to be a fucking Nintendo portable system.
Yeah, dude.
Like literally, bro.
I'm like we were saying, it's going to be the console for shooters.
Not just that, like PC games, Civ.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Civ 7 is being ported and it's going to run well. RTS games.
Like what?
You might even see like MOBAs and stuff like. I wouldn't be surprised if League of Legends ported like a version to Switch 2 or something.
Exactly,
you know?
And it's just people are talking about it like, yeah, it's kind of a cool gimmick, you know, you get to use as a mouse. It's like, no, you're not understanding. This is like this is literally the best console of all time to play PC games, which is nuts. Like it's and it's portable, which is just like weird.
Like as you know, with me, like in my life lately, I've been a PC gamer for a little while now. Not like I kind of gave up on consoles around like high school.
Not like a Steam Deck gamer.
No, well, no. What I mean is since I got into League of Legends and ruined my life.
Oh yeah.
But like I've been more of a PC gamer, and like I just stopped buying consoles and caring about that stuff as much. But lately, ever since I got my Steam Deck and I've had the PS5, I hate gaming at my computer right now. I sit at that desk all day for work. I want to come to my living room, sit on this couch I bought, use this beautiful TV and sound system I bought.
Yeah.
But I miss playing shooters, and I hate playing shooters with controls with joystick sticks.
And I think also that's the thing. Like, there's a lot more people now that are like you, right? Where they're like working at a desk most of the time. Like that's just becoming more and more common. I would say people working at a desk. So like, yeah, a lot of people like
they don't want to like game there either.
Yeah, you don't want to go to your PC to game.
Nintendo giving me the option to play games I love, like the Doom? Ultra Kills, the Dooms, the Dusks. To play them on my big TV and my beautiful sound system, and still have that fluid control. Yeah. I am so damn excited,
dude. It's huge, and it also like, man, it just means. By the way, you know all those like low budget indie shooters, like boomer shooter indie shooters,
like the Ultra Kills, the Dusk,
those games are gonna see a level of success they've probably never ever seen.
You're right,
because Switch games sell like crazy. Every single time you see a game released on multiple platforms, the Switch version is always the one that sells like a retarded amount compared to everything else. Right, and that's going to be the same. Like now you're going to see Ultra Kill selling millions of copies for the first time ever, like on Switch, where it's going to be like, what the fuck?
Totally.
This guy's rich now. He can make Ultra Kill too.
If he's not already rich, to be honest.
He probably is. Like it was a big success, but I just mean
you're right. Like, it's going to blow it up even further.
Yeah.
And just to see like how devs are gonna, work with this new hardware, and just like we said, all these whole like new realm of games that were not meant for consoles are now opening up thanks to the Switch.
There's so many cool things. I mean, also I want to just quickly, while we're talking about the mouse, there's also just the fact that it's mouse plus a controller in the left hand.
Yeah.
I want to point that out. I don't like keyboard for gaming, but I like the mouse. I like the idea of the mouse for like shooting and shit, but I think it's pretty uncomfortable. Move. Yeah, having the analog stick and the shoulder buttons and everything on the left hand, I think is just more comfortable. So like the idea of like having your mouse and an actual controller, because obviously you can do that on PC, right? You can plug your PS5 controller and use the left side of it, but that's like, you look like a fucking sociopath. You know what I mean? So on Switch, you look a bit less like a sociopath because that's what it's made for. So I think just that mix also makes other games that are not even shooters, like a lot of people like playing Dark Souls with a mouse, for example. Like, it's weird. I wouldn't do that. But like now you could have like the...
I wouldn't say a lot of people, but there's a chunk of weirdos out there.
There's a chunk of weirdos. I know some people, okay? But like that's just an example where like you could just have that option in games now, where like if someone wants to, they can play like the right hand. Like the left hand is still like works like a normal ass like control. I really like that, just the aspect of it, because like, I mean, I guess it could really like I just don't like the keyboard, bro. Like I don't think it's really that comfortable for gaming.
I'm a fan of keyboard. Grew up playing PC games and console games, so
that's fair.
I'm fine with it.
I'm not like
you're not, but I do like the idea of having an analog stick. For first-person shooters while still having the mouse control, because that is something that has bothered me a lot of times playing PC games. Is like W just full gas when you press W. Like I mean, like you can't ease into it.
That's the thing. That's right. Like you get a bit more control too. Like if you're playing like a game like Doom, let's say, you get like full control when you have a mouse in the right hand and like a controller in the left hand, because then you can like slightly move the stick if you want to move a bit slower. It's just like just generally more control. I just wish it was analog triggers.
Which I thought it's pretty cool that they're adding the mouse. I mean, obviously they would add the mouse support for the new Metroid game.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to...
I use that as an excuse to segue into this topic.
Sure.
Metroid Prime 4. People are not being critical about this, dude.
Good segue.
People are kind of like overglazing it already, and in our circle, we're not too optimistic about it.
I want to glaze.
I want it to be great. But from what we're seeing,
it looks okay.
It looks okay.
Like. It doesn't look like a bad game.
It doesn't look terrible. It looks a bit dated. It looks like the product of development hell, though.
I think it's worse than dated, though, because I won't really care about things looking dated.
I don't mean graphics wise.
No, here's my issue. It looks worse than Metroid Prime 1.
Like the port that they did on Switch?
No, I just mean it looks worse. I don't mean graphically. I just mean the game looks worse than
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 1. So that's not even a dated thing. Like,
Let's elaborate. Like, what do you mean?
Metroid Prime 1 looks atmospheric, engaging, lonely, like kind of, like it's
a bit daunting at times.
yeah, like there's just something really, it has a real, I hate saying this, it sounds actually retarded. It has a real aura.
Yeah.
The original Metroid
Prime.
Prime.
It's a very, Metroid Prime 2 and 3 as well had aura.
3, I mean, not really as much as 1 or 2, but
Okay,
it's
fair.
fine. Like 3 is like more, I'd say like a more action oriented version of the concept, but it's whatever. Still not a bad game, but and I haven't played through any of these games, like, so I just want to point that out. I played a decent chunk of the first one and a small chunk of 2 and 3. My issue with 4 is just like the environments don't look they just don't look interesting. Like, honestly, I'm looking at the environments, I'm kind of like, yeah, this is cool, it's jungle, like, it's kind of whatever. And there's just not a lot of horror atmosphere, which I think is kind of a part of Metroid. Like,
yeah, I could see that maybe like they're just not showing it because they're showing like an intro mission type thing.
True.
So you could like go to different planets, but for me, what's really concerning is the gunplay looks ass.
Oh, true. I didn't even. Yeah.
The blasts. Now, keep in mind, the gameplay we've seen, we can't really hear the sound design much.
That is an issue. Like, we kept looking for something we could find where we could actually just hear the sound design without some Nintendo intern, like, talking over it, basically, or whatever. We can't find any. But from what we can tell, it just seems like the
animations don't look good. It looks like there's no weight behind the shots. When the enemies get hit, there's just glow red.
Yeah, there's no stun. Like, there's no little, like, dude, it's also like,
it looks like PS2 era, like a bargain bin game on PS2.
It's also like we're coming from, like, we just had the amazing Resident Evil, like, remakes and shit like that, where, like, every bullet, there's some recoil in the enemy. You did an animation, you shoot him in the arm, his arm moves back. Yeah. And then Metroid, they don't even stop. They just
they just glow red. Like, what is that?
No, it's not very satisfying. It reminds me of like those bad Souls likes. The bad Souls like for every hit you land, the enemy just kind of keeps moving without ever flinching or anything. It's just kind of like, well, this is really not satisfying to play.
Not at all. And no one's talking about this. Everyone's glazing the fuck out of this game.
Man, I think this game is gonna get the, like, it's a new game, so it's an 8 out of 10 treatment. You know what I mean?
The franchise is finally giving us we're giving this a good review. Nintendo, please give us more games. Like that.
Yeah, like, I think everyone's gonna give it, like, I think IGN's gonna give it like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10, and then the real score is gonna be more like a 6 or like a 6.5. Like the actual score, there's the psychic powers look boring too. Like, I thought it was a cool idea.
My brother pointed this out to me when they're doing like that seeker missile where you're like in the first person view. The missile going. The animation when you kill the enemy, they just kind of disappear. I was just like, what the hell? Oh my goodness, dude.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look like 10 years of work. It looks like 10 years of development.
We obviously know, like, it's been restarted a bunch of times. It's been in development hell, but gamers, don't keep your hopes up too high. I hope we're wrong. I genuinely hope we're wrong.
Yeah.
But it's not looking so hot.
It looks a lot worse. Dude, I mean, honestly, I would be pretty happy if it sold poorly. You know why?
More 2D Metroids?
Because Dread sold well. If I could get a Dread 2, if Nintendo's like, well, Prime 4 didn't sell the way we thought it would, but hey, Dread 2 sold better than we thought it would. Maybe we just do more 2D Metroids.
I still seeing it selling well, just because it's going to be
on Switch 2
at launch year. Yeah. Plus, everyone's been like begging and crying and farting for this game for so long.
Well, that doesn't mean much, honestly. A lot of the time, like, things that people like really want end up doing, like, okay, like, look at Shenmue 3. Like, that game sucked ass, to be fair, but like when they finally released Shenmue 3,
was that like really begged for?
Dude,
I didn't know.
Half-Life 3 levels.
Really?
Yeah. Shenmue 3 is something people have been begging for since the late 90s. Like, people wanted that shit really bad. Finally came out, it was dog shit. And the reason it was dog shit is because it was like the old games, right? Like, it played like the old games, and people wanted something new with the Shenmue anyway.
Yeah.
So Metroid Prime, I think, is a thing where, like, it's just been too long, and it seems like they're more so like trying to hit all of the check boxes. You know what I mean? Instead of like making like a new game because they want to make a new, you know what I mean? Like,
it's out of obligation. It's not out of
like,
passion.
Like, Nintendo's like, yo, like, we've restarted this shit. It's been like 10 years of restarting this shit. You're just going to make the fucking game. It's going to be a 6 out of 10, and we're going to release it, and it's going to sell what it's going to sell. I'm
and
done.
Nintendo drones are going to be like, greatest Metroid ever.
Yeah, Topic Carlo's going to cry.
But okay, I bring this up just because like we were genuinely concerned that like no one was questioning the stuff we've been questioning. Like
For Metroid,
yeah, no one. I haven't seen a single person
I haven't
like
seen anyone talk about it.
and I think we
I did see Synthetic Man say the game just looks like mid,
Yeah.
Right? He didn't really get into that,
yeah, but he does that for everything.
But he does that for
Yeah.
everything. That's true.
But I bring this up because I think we've glazed Nintendo enough on this episode already, so that when we're bringing up this concern, it's like it's a legitimate concern. It's not us trying to be like cool and hipster, like, oh yeah, we don't like what's popular.
Yeah, true. That's a good point. We glazed Nintendo the entire episode, so it's not like we're just trying to hate on the shit just because we like hating, But yeah, no, I do think Metroid Prime 4 is kind of being overhyped by a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers that make a lot of money off of hyping Nintendo stuff, So,
but even just like discourse on like Twitter and social media, gamer groups and whatnot. Shout out to Implying We Can Discuss Video Games on Facebook.
Best Facebook group ever.
Makes Facebook like the best social media for me because I'm that much of a boomer.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely concerned about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, they can't all be bangers. I think like, development hell is what it is. I kind of expected it. The one thing I hope is actually going to deliver and not be just a development hell mess is going to be Silksong. That's the one where I'm like,
I completely forgot about it while we've been talking about this, but that was one of like the biggest dubs for you and me in a little while.
The direct to finally get.
I think we gotta explain the lore of the group chat to the audience here.
I think that could be good for the next episode.
Next episode,
I think next episode we can get into Silksong. We've gone through a lot of like Nintendo glazing and shit. I think we might as well just keep it focused on Nintendo. Plus, I think we might see. I'm predicting we might see Silksong at the Future Games show.
Yeah.
So we know
when is that happening?
It's like early June.
Early June.
Yeah. I think it's literally the Switch is dropping June 6th, right?
5th or 6th.
Okay,
like that, yeah.
it's on. I'm pretty sure it's on June 7th. The Future Games show. Either way, I think we're gonna see it there. So we might as well talk about Silksong a bit closer to that show, and we can like kind of speculate.
How dope would a ghost drop of Silksong be, though?
I think. I'm gonna be. I don't want to be contrarian, but I think it'd be retarded to shadow. Yeah. I don't think it would make sense.
Yeah, maybe for a game like that, but
it's Elden Ring levels of hype. Like,
they
can literally tell you it comes out in a year, and in a year it's gonna sell like 10 million copies.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But
speaking of ghost drops, the game.
Oh my god! Wait, I forgot we had to talk about that. Okay, we gotta finish this shit. So let's talk about Oblivion really quick. Dude, that's your game, not my game.
It's my game, man, and I'm sure everyone's been hearing about what's happening. I gotta explain, like, Oblivion was one of my first games where I, like, was so immersed, like, lost in a world. I was in 5th to 6th grade, playing it on PS3. One of the greatest gaming experiences of my life. I'm not expecting to have that experience again with this remake or whatever it's coming.
Do you think it's gonna hold up at all? Like, I mean, dude, how does... Because this company sucks ass. Are they the ones doing it?
No,
Do we know anything?
it's being outsourced. How the leaks happened was the developer studio that has worked with Bethesda a lot, because every game dev studio nowadays outsources work. They've already done a lot of like outsourcing work for Bethesda. So they were contracted. I think it's their France division or whatever, the division in France, is the one working on. They're the one who uploaded all those pictures on the website, and that's where all those leaks came from.
Okay.
Also, the earlier leaks, like a few months ago, were like employees from that studio updating their resumes and LinkedIn's and stuff like that. So what I heard is happening is that the remaster is kind of layering Unreal Engine 5 on top of the old engine.
Oh, okay. Like, just like, oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Like, they're, like, just redoing, basically, the visuals in Unreal Engine 5 while it's still using, like, the old game engine and stuff. Like, they're not, like, remaking the systems.
The physics and stuff are going to be from the old game. And
they're owned by Xbox, right? Like, Microsoft?
Bethesda is owned by
that
Microsoft,
makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, very recently, we got that Ninja Gaiden 2.
Right.
That's what they did.
Oh, they did a layering as well?
Yeah, that's what they did.
So that makes sense. And I'm sure it, like... in terms of resource spending.
Definitely a more cost effective.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it makes sense because it's really just updating visuals without having to update game systems.
But they are, according to leaks and rumors, they are going to be updating some game mechanics. Apparently, they're aiming to make shielding, blocking more like Souls-like more parry based and like timing based.
Oh, okay. Make the combat a bit more.
Yeah, because we were talking about like those shitty Souls games and how they have like no impact on the hits.
Yeah, that's.
And this was one of the like crappy parts about just Elder Scrolls up until Skyrim was the
Pretty
impact of the hits was not good.
I mean, it's kind of what you'd expect, especially because, like, to be fair, like these games, I think Oblivion came out in what, like 2006, 2005.
It was an Xbox 360 launch.
So yeah,
game.
that's the same year as like Resident Evil 4. You know,
Yeah.
like it's retro at this point.
Yeah,
it's really retro.
It,
you know,
it makes me feel old to say it, but you're not wrong. Yeah, it is retro at this point.
It's like it was really ambitious for the time, Oblivion. So like, I think it makes sense that not everything was fully polished. So if they want to make the combat better, that's cool. I'm still.
When you asked me, sorry, finish your thought.
I was just gonna be I'm still probably not gonna want to play it because I don't care.
I'm gonna get it on Steam Family anyways. Probably you guys can
yeah.
get the chance to try it then.
Shout out Steam Family.
Yeah, shout out Steam Family. But you were asking me, do you think it's gonna hold up? I think it will hold up if it still has the janky soul of Oblivion. Part of what makes that game so great is the jank. It's the weirdness. It's the quirkiness.
Yeah,
that's the soul behind the game, and that was one of the things that really broke my heart when I played Skyrim back when it released back in 2012, 7th grade. I remember launching that game, and I was like, "What the fuck?" It's like way too serious.
Yeah,
it was way too dark, and like the colors weren't as vibrant as Oblivion was. Now, when you look at the games that came after Skyrim was kind of vibrant in today's standards, but
really
at the time,
I feel like I feel like during the time of Skyrim, games were not that vibrant.
Yeah,
but now I actually feel like games have gone kind of bounced back.
No, you're right. Actually, I'm just thinking in retrospect, Skyrim wasn't as dark and like
relative to the other games. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
I guess that's more of what I meant.
Like I feel like that was just a grim artistic movement in general at that time. Like games were very crummy, muddy, and kind of dirty.
Piss filter.
Yeah, piss filter. Yeah. Shout out RE4, my favorite game ever. But yeah, every game was brown because of Resident Evil 4.
But that was a lot of discourse on Twitter, X or whatever you want to call it. Was people were a little concerned from those screenshots of Oblivion that
looks a bit brown.
That it looks a bit brown. It looks like super post-processed modern Unreal Engine slop.
Yeah. I saw some other screenshots.
I saw some other screenshots that kind of like reassured me, saying it's not gonna be that bad.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping for that Ghost Drop Monday. I got work.
Right. They said it would be a Ghost Drop, right?
Yeah, and it's. Well, did you see the people like DMing Xbox Live?
No.
DMing them on Twitter, like the support, and saying like, "Oh, I heard that this game is dropping on April 21st," and then like Xbox reps, on their Twitter account, were saying, "Yes, it will be dropping." And
Wait, what the hell?
I think there was a lapse of communication.
What the fuck?
Between like, I think they kept it so low key.
This is so unfair, bro. No, but this sucks for Xbox.
It does,
because if they don't shadow drop this shit on that
it's
day,
gonna be so bad.
Bad PR that they didn't do anything. Yeah. They did nothing wrong, and they're gonna get bad PR if there's no Oblivion shadow drop now.
You know what you do, Xbox? Listen to me. Shadow drop this long weekend, this Easter weekend, so people have time off work to play, and then it'll be an extra shadow drop because it'll be a couple days earlier than everyone anticipated. Yeah, I don't know.
That's not happening.
It's not happening, but please do it.
That's not happening.
I have to work Monday. I don't get it off. I want to play.
Oh, you didn't get Easter? Man.
I get Friday off, man. I don't get Monday off.
That's cooked. Maybe if they shadow drop Silk Song. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for...
I think, that's... we yapped for a good while, and I think this went well. I was happy.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good first attempt. Next one might end up being better or worse. We'll see.
We'll see.
But, that's about it. All right.
See ya.
Peace.